Greetings, Tanzanites. Sometimes I have the craziest thoughts from things that I see, from things that I hear, from things that go on in my mind. Today, something popped up in my head. Listen, don't ask me why or where it came from or where this all the things come from that I speak of in my mind, right? But the question today is, who are you when no one is watching? Who am I when no one is watching? As you know, I recently had surgery, and just like when my son died, I realized that people that I kept around me didn't know how to take care of me. And I can't take all of the blame, but I can take some of the blame, right? Because I didn't teach them how to take care of me. They basically thought that I was Superwoman because I appeared that way, right? I mean, everybody should know when your child dies, you need some type of help, right? Well, anyways, that led me to my surgery time and the people I talk to on the phone every single day. I'm not lying to you because I'm a talker. Never showed up for me to this very day. So I've been going down this path of self-searching. I never kind of go to who they are, but just reevaluate the friendship as a whole. It wasn't a new friendship. It was friendship that had been around for a while. And it led me to say, I'm always on, you know? And when I say on, I mean I'm a DJ. I am on the radio doing the traffic and weather. So I'm always on. By default, I literally, well, I'm not going to even say by default because it's not the way it's supposed to be, right? I don't know. Yeah, I guess so. You know, I took care of my parents. I was the power attorney for both of my parents, medically, financially, handled uh, my mom's accounts and set up a lot of my dad's accounts when he was sick as well. And so people just really learned to expect that I'm going to be on. I remember when my aunt literally asked me to host my grandmother's funeral. She was like, yeah, we need your energy there. Let's have fun. We don't want it to be a sad occasion. But my son had died recently. I didn't like the sight of a casket. And for the first time, I started speaking up to myself, and I told my aunt, hey, I won't be able to do it. She was not happy with me, but she got over it. She probably don't even remember it, but I do. I was hurt. I felt so bad. I stayed in the background at the funeral. I didn't even get up and speak on my grandmother's behalf. And I just sat there. I was still grieving and trying to get through the death of my own child. So who am I when no one is watching? I'm not on. I remember now where this actually came from is with my therapist. She was saying, if you're not your authentic self, if you don't tell me what's going on, I can't help you. And I realized I'd gone to therapy several times prior, and I probably was only 92.5% honest about everything. But that 7.5% is really what controlled me in public. I felt, maybe I could say I feel because I'm getting out of that. I felt that no one wanted the angel mom, the broken mom, the broken hearted mom, the one with health issues. I felt like they only wanted DJ Miss Tan because as soon as DJ Miss Tan couldn't be that good listening ear, that prayer partner, that person to motivate, when I needed all those things, where's my people? And I'm not talking about, because I have my day ones that check in and people say, well, maybe that's all you need. That's fine. But I had other people who considered me their best friend that didn't show up for me. And when I brought it up, it didn't go over well. Didn't go over well at all. When no one is watching, of course, you're still yourself. But it's when your true character, your values, and your motivations are most evident because there's no external pressures or expectations influencing your actions. I'm not blaming anyone. If anything, I'm blaming myself. But your private behavior is what reveals your genuine self, whether it aligns with your public persona or not. And what I realized with my self-awareness, when no one was watching, is that I wanted somebody to take care of me. I remember all of the different memes or posts that said, check on your strong friend. I'm the strong friend. I don't care how much I would try to tell them, I need you as much as you need me. What is that about? And I started saying to myself, I might as well just go through this with me and God. I might as well journal. Everybody is going through something. I am not saying that my life is the have all be all to tragedy. But when is it going to be my turn amongst those people? And then when I required more of them, they so easily walked away. That's wild. But learning who you are when no one is watching, what it does is help you to fall in love with yourself. All of your flaws and all. It helps you to understand that your cape can be taken off. And it doesn't necessarily have to ever be put on again because you've caped enough for people. But if you decide to, maybe you need to put that cape on for yourself first. Sometimes as I'm talking and things come to me and I'm like, I'm all over the place, but I know that my thoughts will help others to not only self-assess, but to, just think, when you're alone, you're free to think, you're free to feel, you're free to express yourself without any pressure but from you and what you want. How you perceive yourself, really how God perceives you, in my most humble opinion, are the top tier. When you're alone and you have time to just process and not be on, you start realizing that phrase, life is short, is real. And you start realizing that everybody around you does whatever they want, with whoever they want, whenever they want. And they don't ask for your permission. Self perception when you're alone is a direct reflection of yourself. It reveals so much truth about you, both positive and negatives. And the way that I'm starting to fall in love with me is helping me to understand why people love me, but it's also helping me to understand why people use me. I'm so open and so giving. And when you tell people how they treated you and their immediate response is to defend their actions, you know it's time to let it go. They still don't know the importance of what you're saying. They can't even feel it. They don't want it. Listen, most of the times they don't even have it to give to you. They're constantly taking. And they think that you love giving. I'm so in love with the idea of my private self aligning with my public self, that it's like almost an excitement. It's almost like I drank an energy drink, which I don't drink, but I imagine this is how it must feel, because it feels so good to walk in a room and know that those who accept you and truly love you, you can feel that energy, and the ones that are off, you can avoid it, and it's okay. It's okay, especially when you know your own heart and your own intentions. So when nobody is watching, is when you grow. It's when you feel the most, because you have no interruptions but the thoughts in your head. And my thoughts can be intrusive. My thoughts can almost be, what does my therapist call them? She says I catastrophize. So they can almost be catastrophic. So learning to think more positive and saying, maybe those seasons are up with those people and you kept it alive. Now that's food for thought. When you realize that the only reason why that relationship, that friendship, that association is still going is only because of you. They never had any intentions of giving any more. They never had any intentions on balancing the friendship, the relationship, the association. So who you are when no one is watching is so important, because even if you're laying down next to someone, you have to lay down with yourself. The true test of a man's character, as they say, is what he does when no one is watching. So who are you when no one is watching? What does your character say about you when no one is watching? What do you do when no one is watching? What is your self-perception? Self-perception is the strongest. What do you say to yourself when you look in the mirror? What does your mind tell yourself? Do you know the energy that you can save just by truly knowing who you are? Now, that's important too. Let me point that out. You have to know who you are, first and foremost, to even be, is the word faithful to yourself? But to be kind to yourself, you have to understand that you're human, that no one is perfect, that we all make mistakes. We're all made of flesh and blood. We all don't have to be on all the time and always taking care of everyone else until your cup is so empty. You know, the most noticeable times for me is during holidays. And uh, of course, my birthday is a holiday too, is when I realize how I feel about certain relationships that I've kept alive, that I didn't want to admit that weren't serving me anymore. It's casting my pearls amongst swine. People think texting you is sufficient. We really shouldn't make people ask for things. We should be in the spirit of benevolence and giving and offering, and not saying, she's fine. I saw her on the internet smiling. He's fine. I saw him at the grocery store laughing. You never know what someone is going through. You never know how they feel about who they are when they are alone. You never know their teachings and what they were taught and how they are surviving. Anyways, Tanzanites, I'm not going to hold you long tonight. I just wanted to know, who are you when no one is watching? Send me an inquiry. It's okay to live.com. Anything you want me to talk about. If you want to be a guest on the show, I'm going to start having guests soon. It's okay to live.com. ITS2. That's the number 2. LIVE.com. Hit me up. I want to hear from you. All right, Tanzanites?